Astamai, good evening and welcome to the Manx Radio Folk Show with me, John Barker, playing you the best in folk and roots music from the Isle of Man and all around the world. And tonight I start with 1 minute 20 seconds of perfection from the Waterboys.
Where will I wander and wonder? Nobody knows. But wherever I'm a-going, I'll go in search of a rose. Whatever the will of the weather, and whether it shines or snows, wherever I'm a-going, I'll go in search of a rose. I don't know where it's found, but I don't mind. As long as the world spins around, I'll take my time. I'll savor the softness of summer. I'll wrap up when winter blows. And wherever I'm a-going, I'll go in search of a rose.
I lived in a place called Overski, and I had a little girl in a holler tree. I said, little girl, it's plain to see, ain't nobody that can sing like me, ain't nobody that can sing like me. She said, it's hard for me to see how one little boy got so ugly. Yes, my little girlie, that might be, but there ain't nobody that can sing like me, ain't nobody that can sing like me. Way over yonder in the minor key, way over yonder in the minor key, there ain't nobody that can sing like me. We walked down by the Buckeye Creek to see the froggy, the goggle-eyed bee, to hear that west wind whistle to the east. There ain't nobody that can sing like me, ain't nobody that can sing like me. Oh, my little girlie, will you let me see way over yonder where the wind blows free? Nobody can see in our holler tree, and there ain't nobody that can sing like me, ain't nobody that can sing like me. Way over yonder in the minor key, way over yonder in the minor key, there ain't nobody that can sing like me. Her mama cut a switch from a cherry tree and laid it on to she and me. It stung lots worse than a hive of bees, but there ain't nobody that can sing like me, ain't nobody that can sing like me. Now I've walked a long, long ways, still look back to my Tanglewood days. I've led lots of girls since then to stray, saying ain't nobody that can sing like me, ain't nobody that can sing like me. way over yonder in the minor key, way over yonder in the minor key. Ain't nobody that can sing like me. Way over yonder in the minor key, way over yonder in the minor key. Ain't nobody that can sing like me. Ain't nobody that can sing like me.
Well, first there we had the Waterboys with In Search of a Rose from that wonderful Room to Rome album of 1990, and I followed that with Way Over Yonder in the Minor Key by Billy Bragg and Wilco from the Mermaid Avenue album. That album is lyrics of Woody Guthrie that were unused, or at least not turned into songs by Woody, put to music written and performed by Billy Bragg and the American band Wilco. And I've been trying to get that song right myself. I can't quite decide whether it's best on the guitar or the banjo at the moment, but I'm singing it all over the place. I'm actually away this week. As you're listening to this, I'll be in sunny Spain, trying to survive in the heatwave that they're having out there, I believe. I'm sure I've got all of your sympathy for that. So as a result, I haven't got an update on where all of the sessions are this week, but there'll be the usual O'Donnell session on Wednesday night in Douglas. There'll be the Mitre session in Ramsey on Friday night. I'm just not sure where the Sunday session is. It could well be the Black Dog Oven in Peel, but check social media for that. Next, I'm going to play you a track by Jenny Sturgeon. This is The Senses, and it comes from an album called The Living Mountain. Now, some of you might recognise that title as a book by Nan Shepherd. It's a masterpiece of nature writing describing her journeys in the Cairngorm Mountains. She encounters a world that is breathtakingly beautiful at times and shockingly harsh at others. Her intense poetic prose explores and records the rocks, rivers, creatures and hidden aspects of this remarkable landscape. The book was written during the Second World War, and the manuscript of The Living Mountain lay untouched for more than 30 years before it was finally published. Quite a remarkable woman, Nan Shepherd. She was born in 1893, died in 1981, and graduated from her home university in 1915. For the next 41 years worked as a lecturer in English. An enthusiastic gardener, hill walker, she made many visits to the Cairngorms with students and friends. And here's a useful quiz fact for you. She was on the Royal Bank of Scotland £5 note. This is The Senses by Jenny Sturgeon.
A summer like gold, drifting on the edge of time. A summer like gold, watching through another's eyes. Hear it, see it, taste it, feel the pulling of the wild. Hear it, see it, taste it, feel the running of the wild. Bend your ear to the silence, tune into the silence, it seldom is ever there. Cry golden plover, your call across silence slips us from plan and care. Hear it, see it, taste it, feel the pulling of the wild. Hear it, see it, taste it, feel the running of the wild. The honey of heather, the rich honeyed heather brings the heat life. Sweet honeyed heather, nectar of heather, buzzing with rambled flight. For the burn with your feet bare, for the burn with your feet bare, where water caresses stone. For the burn with your bare feet, for the burn with your bare feet, a step in the unknown. Hear it, see it, taste it, feel the pulling of the wild. Hear it, see it, taste it, feel the running of the wild. The flickering shadows filling the canvas of night. The flickering shadows, aurora, my heart light. Hear it, see it, taste it, feel the pulling of the wild. Hear it, see it, taste it, feel the running of the wild. I catch my breath like a wave held back. I catch my breath and life pours back. I catch my breath like a wave held back. I catch my breath and life pours back.
Now, Martin Hayes is an Irish fiddler of considerable reputation and skill. You've heard him on this show playing as part of the Gloaming, a wonderful band that released a number of very distinctive albums over the last 10 years or so. He's now created another band called Martin Hayes and the Common Ground Ensemble, and their lineup emerged to encompass Cormac McCarthy on piano, Kate Ellis on cello, Kyle Sanner on guitar, and Brian Donlan on bouzouki, harmonium, concertina. They've released an album called Peggy's Dream. Peggy was the name of Martin's mother, and this is the title track from that album.
The day is done and dark is the sky. We've wandered far from home, down a road less traveled, you and I, towards a land that can't be known. It's hard to know who's friend or foe, or what lies round the bend. We're torn asunder, tossed to and fro, to where all roads must end. But when I look into your eyes and see your heart and soul, I only know that my future lies where you and I will go. True north, all through the darkest night. True north, your love, my guiding light. So let's watch the moon rise over the land until the shadows part, and let the light fall where it can on the road from heart to heart. 'Cause when I look into your eyes, my compass still runs true.
So that song was True North from an album called Home by Eliza Gilkison. Not somebody I've heard of, I must admit. She's a singer-songwriter activist of 5 decades. And the album's a really nice blend of folk and country and Americana. But apparently her songs have been covered by Joan Baez, Roseanne Cash and Bob Geldof. And here's another quiz fact for you. Her father, Terry Gilkison, wrote Bare Necessities. Yes, that song from Jungle Book. Let's have some tunes from the wonderful Irish band Lunasa. This is from their 2018 album Cass and the Cadgers. Now, back on the 21st of September, we had the pleasure of Brooks Williams and Aaron Catlow playing at the Institute in Laxey. I picked them up from the airport early that morning, took them for breakfast in Noah's, dropped them off at their hotel, the Ascot in Douglas, picked them up later for a coffee down at the Shed in Laxey, and then they recorded a live video in the Institute, which hopefully we'll see on the internet sometime soon. After doing sound checks and setting up the room, they went off down to the Mona Lisa for a pizza, and then performed a wonderful gig, enjoyed by a packed audience that night. Joe Garvin, a regular at many of the sessions around the island, and an experienced radio journalist, offered to interview them for me, which was great because I was running around so much. So the next 15 minutes is a mixture of music and chat with Brooks Williams and Aaron Catlow, and Joe began by asking them about the Isle of Man and their previous visits.
I love it, absolutely love it, and this is our second time being here, so I've been as a solo. I came for the Blues Festival with a trio. I've come with Rab Noakes, and then Aaron, yeah.
So when did you come, Aaron?
So I've been here twice with Sheila and the gig. Played at Manifest, which happened a long time ago, and then played at the One Island, One World Festival, I think, at the Peel Centre, Centenary Centre in Peel, I think. And then been here once with Brooks and another time with Kit Hawes, another duo that I played.
So how did you get started in the music business?
Well, ever since I can remember, I always wanted to play the violin. I don't know why, because it's a really horrible instrument to learn when you're a child. You have to have very forgiving parents. But my dad's a musician, and he ran a junk shop as well. So a violin turned up in his junk shop, and he gave it to me, and I started playing. I did classical music for about 5 years, and then I joined my dad's medieval band and toured around Europe and dressed up as a medieval minstrel. Child labour. Social services are going to be getting a call.
That must have been great fun, though.
I know, it was brilliant. So much good fun, and it was all acoustic and lots of entertainment, lots of playing on the street, and so it was a really good sort of grounding in that kind of entertainment world. And it's also helped me play very loudly because I had to compete with lots of people shouting and drunken knights and horses neighing and swords clashing.
You're not from round here, are you?
No, I'm originally I was born in Georgia in the USA, and then I moved to Boston when I was 18. And then I've been here in the UK. I moved to Cambridge about 15 years ago, and this is my home now.
So how did you get started in the music business?
Well, I sort of dabbled primarily through my mum, who was really into classical music. She had me in all sorts of music programs, violin, choral music, as a young child, like almost before school. And at some point along the way, somebody in one of those groups had an acoustic guitar. And I thought, wow, that's what I want to do. Heck with the rest of this stuff. That's what I was really into. And I badgered my mother until she relented and said, yeah, you do seem to be really keen about the guitar. And I've just been sort of primarily focused on acoustic music. That's always been my interest. Folk music and country music and bluegrass and old-timey. That's always been what I've mostly loved. But I've played a little bit of everything, blues and jazz and just whatever was about. When I was a curly-headed baby, my daddy sat me down upon his knee. He said, go to school each day and learn your letters. Don't be a dirty miner like me. I was born and raised in the mouth of a hazard holler. Coal cars rambled past my door. Now they're standing in the rusty road, all empty. The yelling and don't stop here anymore. used to think my daddy was a black man with script enough to buy the company store. Now he goes downtown with empty pockets. His face is white as February snow. I was born and raised in the mouth of a house in Harlem. Cold cars ramble past my door. Now they're standing in a rusty row, all empty, yelling and don't stop here anymore. Last night I dreamed I went down to the coal yard to draw my pay like I always did before. But the kudzu vines are coming through the window. The leaves and grass were growing through the floor. I was born and raised in the mouth of a hazard harbor. Cold cars ramble past my door. Now they're standing in a rusty row, all empty, yelling and don't stop here anymore. I was born and raised in the mouth of a hazard harbor. Cold cars ramble past my door. Now they're standing in a rusty row, all empty, yelling and don't stop here anymore. Yelling and don't stop here anymore. Don't stop here anymore. Yelling and don't stop here anymore.
So, what would you describe your joint music as?
Oh, that is tricky. Yeah. It's kind of got some flavours of lots of different things. So folk, blues, country, Americana. And definitely Brooks will be probably a lot better at describing the music than I am, because he's the one who brings quite a lot of the tunes to the table for us to play. So I'll definitely hand that over to him. That's an absolute cop-out.
But that's exactly what I would say. That exactly covers it. That covers it exactly. It's that broad definition of what I think of the true definition of folk music is. You know, it's more like roots music, and I find there's a link between, like, there's a song we do by a banjo player called Ola Belle Reed. Now, she was way ahead of her time because she was a woman songwriter in a man's bluegrass world. But she was such a good songwriter that people had to pay attention to her. Now, I see a connection between that, and then I link it up, like maybe we'll do like a Gillian Welch song. And even though she's from another generation, I still feel that those two songwriters are linked, that there's a thread that runs through all of these songs, and quite often it has to do with it's based on the tradition and how the tradition is moved forward.
Do you write a lot of your own music?
I do write a lot. I'm writing kind of all the time. I always have songs on the go. We don't necessarily we're not precious about doing my songs. It's whatever fits for our thing. There were a couple of songs that we did on our latest record, which will be out in the new year, that I brought the idea to Aaron, and Aaron brought these. We sort of batted around musical themes and kind of how the song was going to be structured. So those are our first sort of collaborative bits that we've done, and it's just kind of whatever sits well in our in our sound. There's kind of an Aaron and Brooks galaxy, and whatever fits in that galaxy, that's kind of where we gravitate. We just sort of fly around in that galaxy, and anything that doesn't fit, just we keep it outside.
But do you write as well, Aaron?
Yeah, so I do write lots of instrumental tunes. I've sort of written quite a lot of sort of melody lines to go along with the stuff that Brooks has brought to the table. But I also write for other bands that I'm in, and I have written 2 songs in my whole life. Yeah, one of them about a month ago, and the other one about 2 years ago. So I'm like one every 2 years is my sort of like lyric writing.
So what other bands are you in?
Sheila and a Gig, which is like a 5-piece playing European folk music from sort of the medieval times to the present day. And I'm in another band called Medicine Creek, which is kind of a bit more straight up old time bluegrass. Then I play with Kit Hawes, which is like more English folk duo, and me and Brooks, and that's it at the moment. Yeah,
Keeps you busy.
Yes, my Google Diary looks like someone's been sick on it, the amount of colours that's on there.
What about you, Brooks? Do you collaborate with other people?
Yes. Besides Aaron, I work with a banjo player called Dan Walsh, and we do gigs periodically. And I work with Boo Hewerdine off and on. Kind of depends on where we're at and what we've written. And I did work with the late great Rab Noakes, which was such a pleasure because I was a bit of a fan of his from when I was a teenager. So yeah, those kept me out of trouble for the most part.
What's in the future for you?
So yeah, we literally just finished a brand new album called Greens and Blues, and that's just been finished mastering. And also on that album we've got a fantastic double bass player called John Short who's joined us. So it turned into a bit of a trio. It's a bit more upbeat and rocky than the last album, and so we'll be touring that in January, February and May next year. So got quite a lot of dates coming from there, and then we'll be going to the Netherlands in September next year. A few sniffs of festivals are coming in already, so hopefully it's going to be a busy year for us. Yeah.
It must be great fun actually working the two of you together.
Oh, it's great fun. I mean, we this is the first time we've spoken to each other for 2 years. We travel in separate cars. We absolutely detest each other, but it's all part of the act. But it's such great fun talking with Brooks. It's so relaxed, so easy. Playing in a duo is fun with Brooks is fantastic. Yeah, it's always good fun, and I really enjoy playing his music. Yeah.
I'm on Interstate 10, I just left Alabama, gone to Mississippi through East Louisiana. I'll take I-55 north, in and out of Highway 61. Under a clear blue sky and a red-hot fiery sun. In Jackson on Lamar Street, about halfway down, there's a Greyhound bus station, smartest building in town. A thing of beauty, rescued from disrespect. Restored to all its modern glory by Bob Adams, master architect. On May 28th, 1961, 9 freedom riders trying to get some things done disembarked here along the way from the end of of segregation on public transportation all across, up and down the USA. Chevy HHRO with shiny chrome wheels behind tinted windows. I know how that driver feels. Concealed and concealing, hard to look the world straight in the eyes some days. As I search around and wonder, are we ever gonna fix our ways? As I search around and wonder, are we ever gonna fix our ways? On May 28th, 1961, 9 freedom riders trying to get some things done disembarked here along the way to the end of segregation on public transportation all across, up and down the USA.
So my thanks again to Joe Garvin for doing that interview with Brooks and Aaron. You heard their 2 songs that they performed that night from their album Ready for the Times, the L&N and then Jackson Greyhound, which was actually written by the late great Rab Noakes. You'll also have heard Brooks mention Gillian Welch. They did a great version of Red Clay Halo from that fabulous album Time the Revelator. So I thought I'd play that for you too. This is Gillian Welch and David Rawlings' Red Clay Halo.
Oh, the girls all dance with the boys from the city, and they don't care to dance with me. Now it ain't my fault that the fields are muddy, and the red clay stains my feet. And it's under my nails, and it's under my collar, and it shows on my Sunday clothes. Oh, I do soap and water, but the damned old dirt won't go. But when I pass through the pearly gate, will my gown be gold instead, or just a red clay robe with a red clay wings and a red clay halo for my head? It's dust in the summer when it blows in a crimson tide, until the trees and the leaves and the cows are the color of the dirt on the mountainside. But when I pass through the pearly gate, will my gown be gold instead, or just a red clay robe with a red clay wings and a red clay halo for my head? good and muddy when I get to the other side. And when I pass through the pearly gates, will my gown be gold instead, or just a red clay roll with a red clay wings and a red clay halo for my head? I'll take a red clay roll with a red clay wings and a red clay halo for my head.
So I'll play one more track from that Martin Hayes and the Common Ground Ensemble album in a moment. But just to remind you, of course, you can listen to this show again on the Manx Radio website, and you can download it as a podcast from your usual podcast apps. And you can email me at folkshow@manxradio.com. I'll be back from sunny Spain in time for the next show, so I'll look forward to playing you some music then. In the meantime, this is Toss the Feathers and the Magibound Reel from Martin Hayes and the Common Ground Ensemble. See you next week.